top 7 horror movies of all time. The best horror movies of all time can sense your fear. They know your weaknesses, the tiny flaws in your mental armor, and what it will take to make you finally snap and send you hiding behind a cushion or even the entire sofa. The 7 best scary movies below are not the ones with the most jump scares, but the ones that will stick with you long after they're finished. They're the ones that give you fresh phobias and fears. The ones that make you wonder what's lurking in the shadowy corner of your bedroom that even your bedside lamp won't touch. Watch any of the movies on this video and you will think twice about shining your phone torch into the gloom to see what's hiding in there. Number 1. Hereditary. Writer-director Ari Aster made a huge splash with his feature directorial debut, a dark family drama about the nature of grief couched within a supernatural horror film. Toni Collette earned a spot in the pantheon of great Oscar snubs with her slowly ratcheted up to 11 performance as bedeviled Mother Annie, but the movie's biggest shock came courtesy of, well, we won't spoil that here. Suffice it to say, Hereditary struck such a nerve with moviegoers that it instantly turned Aster into a director to watch and shot up to first place on our list. Number 2. The Conjuring. James Wan has staked out a place among the modern masters of horror, directing films like Saw, Dead Silence, Insidious, and this inspired by true events chiller based on the experiences of real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens, best known for their work on the strange case that inspired the Amityville horror movies, were portrayed by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, who grounded the effective jump scares and freak-out moments with a believable world weariness. Together, Wan and his co-leads found fresh terror in familiar genre tropes, and the end result is a sprawling cinematic universe that only continues to grow. Number 3. The Shining. Literally dozens of Stephen King's novels and stories have been adapted for the big screen, and several of those films are considered classics today, like Carrie, Misery, and Pet Sematary. But the mother of them all is easily Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of The Shining, a marvel of set and production design and a genuinely unnerving take on the traditional haunted house story. The Shining features a host of memorable images and an iconic Jack Nicholson performance. The film's relatively few jump scares are still absolutely chilling, but its true power lies in the way it crawls under your skin and makes you experience Jack Torrance's slow descent into madness. It's rightfully considered one of the greatest horror films ever made, and it ranked 3rd in poll. Number 4. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. While the top 4 movies on this list collectively garnered 42% of the total votes counted, they were followed by 6 films that all earned around 3% of the vote each. In other words, these last 6 films were separated by no more than 60 votes. The first of them is this low-budget slasher directed and co-written by Tobe Hooper, very loosely inspired by the crimes of Ed Gein. Texas Chainsaw's grimy aesthetic helped lend it an air of authenticity, which made it all the more frightening, and the massive, menacing presence of Gunnar Hansen's Leatherface paved the way for other brutes like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Multiple attempts have been made to breathe new life into the franchise, and we have another one on the way, but none have equaled the original in sheer, over-the-top, power tool-inspired terror. Number 5. The Ring. It's always a tricky proposition to take something that works well for one culture and try to translate that formula successfully for another, but Gore Verbinski managed that with The Ring. A remake of Japanese director Hideo Nakata's acclaimed thriller about a cursed videotape, Verbinski's take kept the original film's striking visual imagery, the ghost of a young girl in a white dress with long black hair covering her face, and found that it scared the hell out of audiences no matter where they were from. While the film wasn't as well regarded as its predecessor, it features a committed performance from a then up-and-coming Naomi Watts, and for many, it served as an introduction to East Asian horror cinema. Number 6. Sinister. For those who didn't read the scientific study mentioned at the top, we've finally come to the film it crowned the scariest. Before he joined the MCU with 2016 Seconds Doctor Strange, director Scott Derrickson had racked up a few horror films, a couple of which earned cult followings. One of them was this small-scale haunted house possession story about a true crime writer who moves his wife and kids into a house where a family was murdered, only to discover the new place might already have a rather evil tenant. Writer C. Robert Cargill was reportedly inspired to pen the script based on a nightmare he had after watching The Ring, and the story does share a minor similarity with that film, what with the creepy snuff film angle. But for many who saw it, the dramatic reveals and creepy set pieces far outweighed any recycled genre tropes that might have been present. Plus, there's at least one report out there that says it's the scariest movie ever made, so that must count for something. Number 7. It. The fear of clowns is a very real thing, even if it's become so commonplace to announce it that it feels disingenuous. If you needed any further evidence, we direct you to the box office haul of 2017 Seconds It, based on the Stephen King novel of the same name, which went on to beat The Exorcist's 44-year record as the highest-grossing horror film ever. Andy Muschietti's big-budget adaptation drew on nostalgia to tell its story of children scarred by trauma, while Bill Skarsgård's take on Pennywise the evil, shape-shifting clown was bizarre and unsettling in all the right ways. Add a healthy dose of jump scares, a handful of impressive set pieces, and some top-notch CGI, and you've got a recipe for a horror film that's both fun and full of scares. Thanks for watching, and please click on the subscribe button if you liked this video, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on our next video.